It's a bye week, but the Eagles were back at practice on Thursday just the same.
Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, Rube, how's your week off going?" No, not happening.
Not exactly a vacation week.
No,
A little more relaxed.
A little bit, yeah.
But still a lot to get to, and we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
it's not like a bye week during a season where we'd be trying to scrap for ideas. There's plenty to talk about.
We always have ideas.
We do. This is the Eagle Eye Podcast presented by Nissan. He's Reuben Frank. I'm Dave Zangaro. We'll look through the NFL schedule this weekend. Obviously, the Eagles not playing, but we'll make some predictions on those games, and we'll look back at our season predictions that we made earlier in the year. I don't know how this went. Rube's been telling me a little bit, but he has all the numbers in front of him. But we'll start off with some newsy stuff. Jalen Hurts did practice on Thursday. It looked like he was really limited. He wasn't throwing when we were out there for that portion of practice. And then he talked at his locker after practice. Rube, what'd you get from that?
Yeah, it's not ideal when the quarterback talks at his locker. He usually talks in the auditorium. The auditorium is being used for a Eagles Autism Foundation event. So we talked to Jalen in his locker. So imagine, and his locker's in the corner. So there's less room than a normal locker where you can have people on both sides. So how many people were in there? Maybe
a million,
30, and TV cameras, and it wasn't ideal. But he was in a good mood. As far as specifics, we didn't get any.
Shocker there.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's not going to be 100% when they play, and he won't be 100% the rest of the year. And how close he is, there's just no way to know. I would guess he'll be closer than he was in the Giants game. But I mean, and how did he answer my question? I asked him, would you expect to be able to do everything you can do? And what did he say?
He said he couldn't put a number on it.
Couldn't put a number on it. It's about Jalen Hurts, the man, not the quarterback or something. It's hard to get any kind of specifics out of him. He's very vague, and he goes back to Alabama. It goes back to Bama.
Yeah. But I also think
he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
But he does know how he feels, and he won't tell us.
Yeah.
Which is fine. He has that right. And I'm sure there's some gamesmanship there. And as far as not throwing, I wouldn't read too much into that. The other quarterbacks were throwing.
That makes sense, though. I mean, why would you put extra strain on his shoulder?
Right. I mean, he's not 100%, and he's not going to be 100%. I expect it to be significantly closer. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where they might not really know, because obviously time helps, and the more time, the better. But he also played on it. And I don't know if that resets the clock, if it sets the clock back, or if it doesn't really affect it. We know he was sore in the game. We know he was sore coming out of the game. It's hard to imagine that doesn't affect the timeline at all. So that's why, you really wish they could have taken care of business against the Cowboys or the Saints, so we would have had that large extended period of time without playing at all.
Which he said. He said that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's a shame we couldn't. Which
that
kind
would
of
have been ideal.
Knock on his teammate, but
well,
the locker next to him. It is unfortunate. That Saints game, there's no excuse for that. I mean, they should have won that game. Well, there is an excuse. Their backup quarterback was awful. Real opportunity was in Dallas, and they blew that chance. But that's water under the bridge. I wish I had more to offer. I just don't know. I'm guessing he'll be more like 80 to 85%. 85 might be a little high, but I would guess he'd be in that 80 range or a little higher.
Yeah, and the thing is, no one will know outside of him really until we see it on the field on January 21st or 22nd.
Right. 21st, 22nd.
Yeah, no one's going to have any idea.
Yeah.
And it can't look like it looked against the Giants. He has to be able to do everything, even if it's not at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
The playbook has to be opened. And it's a big concern. It is.
It is. And he alluded to that. I forget what the exact quote was. I think you just repeated it, but he alluded to we kind of did what we had to do. And they were obviously holding back.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing whatever they had to do to win. They got up 19-0. They kind of coasted in, got a little close for comfort. But I think he probably could have done more.
I think so.
But I think they were trying to be as smart as possible, limit him as much as possible, and still get out of there with the win. So I would expect, even if he only improves another little bit between now and the next round, I would think he'd be doing more anyway, just because he was going to have to.
And I mean, they don't have a choice. Like,
because if he plays the way he did against the Giants, season's over. I don't care who they're playing.
Yeah,
And
probably.
If he's that limited, it just changes who this team is and what this offense is. So,
yeah, legitimate concern. But I mean, there are 9 days, 10 days until they play. So you just hope that time does him good, and it should. I mean, it did good from Chicago to Week 18, and you have it's about the same amount of time here.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that we won't see. I mean, the Jalen Hurts that we saw from opening day up until Chicago, it's a shame we won't see that guy in the postseason. Now, maybe we will, but I don't know. Especially after Tampa last year, he was not healthy. So, I mean, he's going to go into year 4 having never played a healthy playoff game, most likely.
Yeah, he was obviously dealing with the ankle last year in Tampa. I found one thing interesting that he said, and I had a chance to go back and listen to it because I was not in the horde of people by his locker. But he talked about just getting in the mindset to play with an injury. Yeah. And it's something he's done before. And he keeps saying that, like, I've played with injuries before. The difference he says about this one is like the whole world knows.
Yeah.
But the whole world knows because this one was significant enough to keep him out of games.
Right.
So I think there's a difference between playing a little nicked up and playing with an injury. And this qualifies as the latter. I mean, we know it because he missed 2 games, right?
Yeah.
That's how you know it's significant.
Nick's been pretty forthcoming about what he's going through as well.
Recently.
Yeah.
That he's really kind of flipped.
Post game. Yeah.
Yeah. Leading up, everything was Jalen's heels fast and he's superhuman. And after we saw the game plan, it was, he's really hurt. And he gave it all. He left it all out there. And those are kind of 2 different things.
Right. He had a funny quote, and this is a typical Jalen Hurts quote. He said, "Pain is strength." And it's one of those things you
add it to the aphorism wall.
Yeah, we're putting together a big list of, but I see what he's saying. He's saying if you, it's like a runner. Like at the end of a race, you're hurting. You want to stop. You're just like, you don't think you're ever going to get to the finish line, and you feed off that. You're like, all right, this is really going to hurt. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to finish as hard as I can, and it's going to hurt, but eventually you'll be done. I think that's kind of, he's just saying, you turn the negative into a positive, that's what he's all about. Yeah. And embrace it, and it's not going to go away, and accept it, embrace it, and deal with it, and don't use it as an excuse. And we'll see. Yeah,
it's easy to say that. I believe he'll do that.
Yeah,
it's just how effective will it be?
Right.
I think he'll still be pretty effective in the playoffs. That's my hunch right now.
I do too. Yeah, but I'm not convinced. I mean, I believe that I'm leaning that way, I guess.
Okay.
But I'm not at 100%.
Yeah. There's something to be said about like being comfortable in that pain and just, I think it is a lot of mindset, but that mindset can only take you so far if the shoulder really is that affected by it.
Right.
Yeah. And he's not the only person who's going to be going through a similar thing. I mean, Lane Johnson on the other side, in a way it's similar. I have more confidence in Jalen playing through the shoulder than I do Lane playing through the groin injury. But it's a similar thing. It's like, it's not going to go away. You just try to get in the right mind frame to play through it. That's all you can do.
Yeah. I think the difference for me is that, like, Jalen, I don't know. Lane needs that core strength on every play. Jalen doesn't need a shoulder on every play.
He needs it on quite a few plays.
Yeah, you do. But, we'll see.
But
Lane didn't practice today. I don't know if we said that.
Not yet. No, we haven't gotten to those guys quite yet. But I mean, the difference in what we've heard about the SC joint, and obviously I'm not a doctor. I don't think I have to tell people that. I think they know. But the difference between that and the AC joint is like, we heard that, the SC will allow you to throw, but you're worried about the impact. You're worried about the pain. Whereas the AC, you might not be able to throw as well, but the risk of re-injury, the risk of that pain is a little bit less. So it's just a different part of the shoulder. And some people even classify the SC as like a chest injury because it's on the inside. That's what he's dealing with. So it kind of follows what we've seen from him. It looked like he was fine throwing the football against the Giants. It was just all minimizing the risk of him taking a shot and dealing with that pain.
Right. Yeah, you said you're not a doctor. It reminded me, I'm going to go off topic, which I never do. I saw They Might Be Giants last night at Union Transfer, and they have a song called Dr. Worm. And one of the lines of Dr. Worm is, I'm not really a doctor, but I really am a worm. It just reminded me of that. So I'm not a doctor, but I really am a worm. Okay. But at least I didn't yell, I really am a worm when you said that.
And I appreciate that because I would have looked at you even stranger than I normally do. Lane, yeah, you're right. Lane was not practicing. No reason for him to practice. Right. It's just trying to let him rest up as much as possible until he plays. I think next week we'll see him practice just to get out there next to Isaac and next to Kels and go from there. AJ Brown wasn't practicing. He had a sleeve on his left leg, but he said he's fine.
Lower leg.
Seems precautionary there. Yeah. Josh Sweat back at practice. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni was very optimistic when we talked to him on Tuesday about Sweat's availability, but to actually see him out there is a good sign. It was nice to see.
Yeah, and I got to talk to Josh. I guess I was on injury duty today. I was on rehab guys duty today, but he was really upbeat. He said it was scary for a few seconds, but he said he felt fine after like 5-10 seconds, and he was joking with Fletch, and he said he knew he wasn't seriously hurt like before the cart even got in the tunnel. He said, and they took him to the hospital just to make sure, precautionary, but he didn't stay over. They released him that evening. And he said he feels 100%. And boy, that's big. Because, what a year he had. 11 sacks, career high, just really active, a lot of pressures, a lot of hurries, hits. As good as Reddick, and Reddick's on a different level than Sweat, but it's not that far off, I believe, as far as generating pressure. I don't know what the analytics say, but I really like the way Sweat played this year. I like the way both of them played, and such a great tandem along with BG. It's not a tandem anymore if BG's part of it, but you know what I mean. But he was really upbeat. He said it was scary for a few seconds. He said he couldn't feel anything. He said within 5 seconds he could. I guess that's what a stinger does. It's scary. And he talked about DeMar, and he kind of got a little scarier watching that and realizing, he said, he says that's my biggest fear, that I won't be able to walk. Yeah.
And Josh has had some really weird.
Well, last year he missed the playoffs.
Yeah, with internal bleeding. Yeah. You go back to high school, obviously his crazy knee injury.
Yeah.
And he's had some scares.
Yeah.
He's only 25.
Yeah, he really has. But it's big getting him back. And looks like he won't be limited at all.
Yeah. So you'll have him and Reddick starting, and then BG coming off the bench, Quinn coming off the bench. You'll have maybe Patrick Johnson active. Like, that's a good group of edge rushers.
Yeah. On top of the pressure they get from those inside guys. So, yeah. That's their. Look, if Jalen's not 100%, this team's biggest weapon is getting to the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. And they do that so consistently.
Yeah.
Even when Davis Webb is like, I'm not getting sacked. they still affect the game.
Sack the punter. We'll just sack the tight end and the punter. Yeah. What a weird game that was.
It was. I mean, that was clear, though. Davis Webb was not going to help them break that sack record.
Yeah. And good for him.
Getting rid of the football. Yeah. He took a grounding to not get sacked.
He did.
But it's great to see Sweat back. And I love the Sweat move. Was not by his locker. He talked to him and huddled in a hallway because he doesn't like that attention.
Yeah. But then once he starts talking, he's great. Yeah. He was out by the door to the locker room, avoiding the media. But then once a few of us cornered him, he was great.
Yeah, he always is. The punter, You really were on injury duty today.
I was.
You didn't leave like a 5-foot radius, but you got all the injured guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
I never walked back to the back half of the line. I did say hi to BG. He told me to stop writing all those bad stories about him. I was like, that was 12 years ago. But no, I didn't write bad stories about him. Sipas, this is really surprising. Just the story's up. It's posted on our site, NBC Sports Philadelphia. But I'm just trying to find. He said he's going to play if the Eagles win in the conference semifinal round. He's really confident he'll be able to play NFC Championship game, and obviously beyond that, if there is a beyond that. He said he was really lucky. He thought he was going to need surgery. You know how a second opinion never seems to differ from the original opinion, but this time it did. He said the second opinion, he said he had a torn deltoid ligament on the inside of his leg and a high ankle sprain as well. And that was only what was that first Giants game? It was like December 11th.
He's missed 4 games, I think.
It was a month ago.
Yeah.
A little over a month ago. So he was really encouraged, and he said he expects to be on the field doing some in his plant leg. He said it's really just a matter of getting up the strength in his plant leg. And he said, you can see my left calf is not as strong as my right calf. You can see it. He just had the boot off yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But he said he expects to be kicking next week.
I imagine there's a little atrophy just from keeping it stationary for that long.
Yeah, exactly. And look, he's not, he's no Stonehouse, but he's way better than Brett Kern, the Brett Kern we've seen. And he's been better than last year. He's been, what?
I feel like you went Stonehouse there.
Oh, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have gone Tressway.
I know you love Tressway. I almost said Stonehenge. Stonehenge. Great song from Spinal Tap. Yeah, he said, I'm looking to be able to kick sometime next week. Definitely by the end of the week. Just a matter of building up strength and stability in my plant leg. And he was funny. He talked about the getting carted off when he said,
oh yeah, because he was exchanging a few words with Giants fans. Right?
Yeah, he said, "Are we allowed to curse on the podcast?"
Just no.
All right. He said he laughed. He said, "I'll bleep. They deserved it. They were giving me a bit of a hard time. I wish I could do an Australian accent. They were giving me a bit of a hard time when the ball got blocked, calling out names themselves. So I thought, why not? I'll just give it back to them. I was in a moment of vulnerability in terms of not knowing what was going to happen, and just kind of instincts took over. I wasn't willing to take any crap from anybody, and that includes people up in the stands that happened to be wearing blue that day."
That was funny. It was a funny moment.
Yeah, and he said he never knew he had so many fans in Philadelphia until that happened. He said I had to get hurt to learn, but that would be big getting him back. It's kind of an underrated thing, but
at the time we thought, man, I'm gonna be backing into an upgrade here, and that hasn't been the case.
No.
Brett Kern struggled. What do you have, a 29-yard punt the other day?
Yeah, he did.
He's averaging 36.6.
Yeah.
That's brutally low.
That's the worst by an Eagles punter since Reggie Hodges in 2005. Yeah. Reggie Hodges is the guy that replaced Dirk Johnson when he got hurt. And Reggie was so bad, they cut him after 3 games and re-signed 45-year-old Sean Landeta, who actually had a great year this final season.
Brett Kern's only 36, but
yeah, Landeta was 9 years older than Brett.
Tell you what,
he's done.
It'd be nice to get Sipas back.
Yeah, looks like that'll happen if, as he said, if the boys take care of business.
Okay, just get him to the plate.
Yeah. Yeah. So some, really all in all encouraging. Mm-hmm. My biggest concern is Lane. My second biggest is Jalen, and I think they'll be in good shape. Other than that, obviously not having Maddox is big.
Yeah, he didn't practice, and I wouldn't expect him to practice. I think they're just holding out hope that at some point, he'll be back. But they found a good plan without him, having CJ Gardner-Johnson as the nickel and keeping Reed Blankenship on the field.
And what a thing that is! I mean, Reed Blankenship, he was like, in training camp, we could see pretty early he was comfortable and he knew what he was doing. He was smart, but you wrote the story about the finances for all the undrafted rookies.
Pretty low.
What do you get, $5,000?
Yeah.
They gave Carson Strong, what, like how much guaranteed? 300.
Oh, a ton, yeah.
He had $5,000, and not only to win a roster spot and maybe help out on special teams, but start 5 games.
Yeah, and he's going to be a huge part of this team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then I don't get ahead of ourselves, but obviously, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Epps are both unsigned, as is everybody on defense, pretty much, other than Reddick and Slay. But Reed Blankenship's going to be starting for this team next year.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he wouldn't be.
Well, there's a player acquisition period in the offseason.
Well, no, I understand that. I know it's possible, but I think safety becomes less of a priority now that you know what he can do.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
You never know. It's the Nissan Thrill of the Drive event, so gift yourself what you really want this holiday season and shop your local Nissan store or visit nissanusa.com today. Just like the holidays, these offers won't last.
Opioid addiction is a national public health crisis. The Someone You Know podcast from the Independence Blue Cross Foundation offers inspiring stories that challenge stigma, offer hope, and humanize the disease of addiction. Download the new Season 3 of Someone You Know on all major podcast platforms. All right, Rube, this is a fun day for us because we make these season predictions before the year. And every year I think you're going to lose them and we'll never hear from them again. But you have them ready to go, and we're going to find out who won this little competition between us.
I lost. No, I have.
Did you lose? Did I win? I like that you say you lost. I didn't win. You lost.
Did I say that?
Yeah. Did I win?
Well, it's controversial.
Why is it controversial?
Because, like, if you go by yards per game, then I won.
But that's, I mean,
like our predictions, like if you go yards per game, because we put both down. But anyway, you did win.
Okay.
Man, it kills me to say.
You're just moving the goalposts
This
here.
is 2 in a row for you, by the way. And we were tied. I think we were tied last year, the year before. I'm winless in the last 3 years, I believe. I think we tied 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, total Jalen Hurts touchdowns, passing plus rushing. You had 33. You're only off by 2. I had 36.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that one. I was off by 1. So that was 1 for me.
And I really undershot it because, he missed games.
Yeah. AJ Brown receiving yards. We were both really low. I had 1106. You had 1198.
Okay.
So we were both pretty low, but you were closer.
That was one where I was thinking he might miss some time because he's missed time in recent years.
Yeah. Defensive points.
I wouldn't have said nearly 1,500, even if I was bullish on him, but now that's a lot.
Defensive points per year. Per defensive points allowed per game. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot to subtract returns here, so bear with me 1 second.
Okay.
How many they had 3 returns against them, right? I believe, yes. 2 pick sixes and a kick return. All right, so the actual number is 19.0.
They didn't have one housed kick return, did they?
They had 3 return. Oh, it was a fumble.
Yeah.
It was 2. It was 2. 2 pick sixes and a fumble. All right. So the actual number is 19. They allowed 19 points per game. I said 20.8. You said 20.5. You won that one. We're both.
And to be clear, like we came up with these numbers independent of each other.
Right.
I don't want people to think I like
undercut me.
Price is righted you on this.
Yeah. So you do get the American Tourister luggage. Dallas got it receiving yards. So this is what I mean. I said 1,035. You missed 5 games. He actually would have been right around there.
Mm-hmm.
You said 937. So he averaged in the games he did play, he had 702. He averaged 59 yards per game. Well, I was off by 2. You were off by 4. So I was actually closer in terms of yards per game.
Yeah.
So I'll give myself a win for that.
Nope. Moving the goalposts here.
Jalen Hurts passing yards. I said 39.10. You said 38.77. We were really close on that. The number in 15 games was 37.01. So 3701 divided by 15 times 17. So he would have been at 4,100. Again, I'm closer per game, but you had the actual number closer. So I'll give
Injuries are part of the game.
I'll give myself a win for that one. All right. So this is what drives me crazy, really. We did Darius Slay plus James Bradbury interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 8 and you had 6.
Yeah.
So it's week 8 and they're already at 6. And I'm thinking all they have to do is get one more over the next 9 games. And at worst, I tie. They didn't.
Yep. That's why they play the whole year, Rube.
So I'm going to give myself a win. I should have won. Eagles points per game. I said 27-2. I was only off by 0.9 of a point. It was 28-1. You said 27.3. I'm not happy. Jake Elliott, longest field goal. I said 56. He said 60. It was 56. So
nailed that one.
I nailed that one. This is interesting. It's funny that we did these this way. Josh Sweat plus Hassan Reddick sacks. Like we both, I thought I was going pretty high. I had 19. You had 20. It was 27.
Yeah.
You were one more than me, but you win it because you're.
At least it's not bothering you at all.
No, not a little bit. Eagles wins. We both said 12, 14. So it's a lot of wins.
People at the time thought we were going too high with 12, by the way.
Yeah. The tiebreaker was Aaron Sipas punting yards. You were closer.
Total punt yards?
Total punt yards. But if he hadn't missed the games, I would have been closer.
Yeah.
Every one that a guy got hurt.
Yeah. Well, I would have won. You know, injuries are part of the game, Ruby. You got to factor that in next time. Yeah. You're going to undershoot so much next year.
I know.
And everyone's going to stay healthy.
Miles Sanders rushing yards 11. If he won't be here, but I'm starting to think he won't be here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You changed on that.
I have.
Okay. Any reason?
Hunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Want to go through the week of NFL football here?
Let's do that.
It is going to be fun. Like this is going to be the most relaxing part of the weekend. Is just we have to just watch football, and the Eagles will get to do it too.
Yeah.
Let's go through the AFC.
Which is like my favorite thing in the world because game days when the Eagles play, we just can't enjoy it.
Yeah, it's always funny. I always tell people this. Like my friends will be like, "Hey, did you see the finish of that Chiefs game?" I'm like, no, I was in a locker room. Like I catch up on all that stuff later, so it will be fun to watch. All right, first one. We'll go with the AFC first, and then we'll talk about NFC a little bit.
Why don't we go in order that they're playing?
Well, because we care more with the NFC.
I care about every team, every game equally.
Do you?
Yeah, I do actually. I love the AFC.
Okay. Do you want to go in order?
The AFC is favored by 3.5 points in the Super Bowl right now. Like even without knowing, I guess they're just assuming the Chiefs are going to score like 50 points against whoever.
Yeah, well, I might not be wrong about that. All right, fine.
Whatever you want to do. We'll go AFC first.
AFC first. You have Chargers, Jaguars.
I like the Jaguars with the upset.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I mean, I know they haven't really played anybody, but the Chargers haven't either.
Chargers are a weird team. I hated seeing Brandon Staley keep his starters out there for as long as he did.
Yeah.
In Week 18. It didn't make sense to me. I understand if you want to play him a little bit, but
I mean, I liked that the games in Jacksonville. I just like Doug in the playoffs. He's got them playing well. What they won 5 in a row?
Yeah, they're playing really well.
Chargers are 1.5 point favorites.
I can look that up. The Lawrence is playing really well, and I give Doug a ton of credit. I think I'm going to go Chargers on that.
Okay.
And I was really bullish on the Chargers coming into the season. They've kind of been a letdown.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Chargers minus 2.5 right now.
Okay.
So I could see the Jags winning that.
Where'd they go? 10-7, Chargers. I mean, they did win 4 of their last 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. They have 4 guys with 700 receiving yards, but none with 900.
Chargers?
Yeah.
And look, Christian Kirk in Jacksonville, we all made fun of that contract. He's played really well.
It's still too much, but yeah.
I mean, but who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like it's working for him.
He's played really well.
He's played well.
And he's perfect for that quarterback because he's just solid.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we'll agree on the next one. Dolphins at Bills is up to 13.5 point spread. No Tua. I mean, that's just
Skylar, what's his name?
Thompson.
Skylar Thompson. Rookie 6th-round pick, I believe.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for them to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any chance?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. In Buffalo, in Orchard Park, I'm sorry.
It's going to be really tough to win that one. Then the last one.
I wonder if any writers are going to drive back to Miami and do a podcast in the car.
I don't think so.
Look for an Arby's.
Last one, Sunday night. Ravens, Bengals.
Yeah.
No Lamar.
Is he definitely out? He's definitely out, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's his nearest contract.
Maybe both.
I think Harbaugh's done a nice job with that team. They just can't score without Lamar. Bengals at home. Yeah, that's.
I guess he's not officially out, but.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't seem like.
He hasn't played in like 6 weeks now.
Yeah. And if he doesn't play, it's just.
If he doesn't play, they have no shot. I mean, they didn't even have their number 2 last week.
Yeah.
So
and the Bengals are good.
Yeah, they're good.
I like Joe Burrow. There's something about the kid.
I'll tell you what, Press Taylor's brother is a good coach.
Zach has been a very good coach. Yeah.
And
you could end up having the brothers face off eventually.
Yeah. I wanted to say, like, I was so impressed with the way Zach Taylor and Sean McDermott handled everything that night, that Monday night.
Yeah.
And they were so, like, in tune with each other. I mean, Zach just went over and, and Sean's like, yeah, we're not going to play. He's like, that's fine. We're not going to play. Then they had the captains meet. I guess the Bengals captains wanted to meet the Bills captains and just agree on it. And they
went to the locker room.
Yeah, they went to the locker room. I've known Sean forever. I've never met Zach. I mean, his brother's a good guy, but
I've met Zach. Zach, nice guy. Sounds like Press.
Yeah.
A little Kermity.
Yeah. Yeah. Press got a little of that Kermit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's off topic, but it was just, I think it was The Athletic did a story where they they just focused on those two guys and how they handled it. And it was really well done story. I wish I remember who wrote it, but yeah. So, but yeah, AFC, I mean, other than, I think the Chargers Jaguars is a good game. I think the other two are most likely blowouts.
Yeah. You have two of the best quarterbacks in the conference likely not playing. So takes a lot of the luster out of it.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Look at the NFC now. Saturday afternoon.
Another blowout.
Seahawks in San Francisco. It's a tough game for Seattle.
Yeah.
49ers have been so good. Maybe you see some collapse from the rookie quarterback, but he hasn't shown any signs of it yet.
No, I mean, he did get some votes for Rookie of the Year despite starting just 5 games.
He probably deserves some.
He probably does. And Seattle's they've had a tough time. But they've lost 5 of their last 8.
Yeah, Gino's kind of come back to earth a little bit. Great story. He's played
been good though. He hasn't been awful.
He hasn't been awful, but I mean, he started off so hot. The team started off so hot, and it's come down a little bit.
Yeah. Metcalf and Lockett both over 1,000. I didn't realize. I haven't even looked at like final stats. And Walker, the rookie, over 1,000 rushing.
Really good rookie running back.
Really good player. I don't think they have a chance. The only chance, like you said, is if Brock Purdy turns in.
He turns into Brock Purdy.
I can't believe I said that. Brock Purdy turns into a pumpkin.
Would do it, yeah.
Is what I meant.
No,
to
he
say.
turns into Brock Purdy.
Yeah, that's true. There's a headline for you. Because he can't be this good. But then we said that about like Kurt Warner, so we said that about a few guys, like eventually they're going to come and they never do.
Yeah.
I mean, let me see it. I mean, I know he threw 3 touchdowns the other day. What's his Brock Purdy, 67%, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 107 3 passer rating. It's crazy. I mean, Trey Lance starts the season, gets hurt, opening day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy comes out of nowhere, plays pretty well, plays really well. He gets hurt, and now like Brock Purdy, Garoppolo is going to be healthy. You can't change quarterbacks.
No, they've been so hot. I mean, they are on most people's lists higher than the Eagles in terms of most likely to come out of the NFC.
I understand that. I mean, the way they
or at least in power rankings, maybe not most likely because the Eagles have one fewer game to win.
Yeah. Niners have won their last 9, most of them by double digits, a bunch of them by 20 or 30 points.
Clearly the biggest threat in the NFC.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're good on the road. Yeah, they're dangerous, but yeah. Yeah, that's 3 straight blowouts we just kind of went through here.
Yeah. All right, how about Sunday afternoon? Giants in Minnesota to take on the Vikings. I'm feeling an upset here.
I like the Vikings. I'm going to go Vikings in this one. Yeah, I just don't think the Giants have quite enough.
I think the Vikings are a fraud team, and they've been a fraud team all year. They finished with a negative point differential.
I know, but I don't think they're a great team. But I just think it's tough for the Giants to go there. And the Vikings are what? They're 13-4, won 5 of their last 7. They have any good wins?
Yeah. They're good at winning close games, which might mean a lot because that Giants team, as I don't think they're very good, but they play tough, and they're going to play 60 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that the other day. I was really impressed with how hard their backups played. I mean, they didn't go into that looking at like we're going to get.
Brian Daboll's done a fantastic job.
He really has. I wonder if I ranked him too low on my coach of the year.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm going to have him 4th. I think I went Andy, Nick, Doug, Dable, and then I forget who was 5th. Oh, McDermott.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go Vikings. So we'll disagree on 2 there.
And then Cowboys at Buccaneers.
Yeah, interesting game. Cowboys have won 3 playoff games since 1996.
And they'll be away from AT&T. But the Bucs stink.
They stink. I know. They're terrible.
I mean, they tried their hardest all year to not win that crappy division.
I know. I think the Cowboys are going to win.
I do too.
I think the Bucs don't even have a good defense anymore. Like that was their.
Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. Shaq Barrett not being there has really taken away their pass rush.
Giving up 30 or more 3 of their last 4 games. Yeah. The only thing, I mean, they have the greatest quarterback in history.
That's the thing. And if they do
Blaine
win,
Gabbert, I'm talking about.
Huh?
Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine. If they win, that means that Brady's won a playoff game. And then you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
So of the 4 possible opponents, right, the Eagles could play next week, it's either the Seahawks, the Giants, the Cowboys, or the Bucs. And I went in ascending order in terms of seed. What do you think is the best scenario, and what's the worst scenario?
Well, Seahawks.
Best.
I
agree. And that's twofold because not only are you playing the weakest team, if they somehow get the 49ers out of the way,
yeah,
you send them a fruit basket too.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing. And traveling across the country, I don't know. They're just not that good. I would go Giants next probably.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you there.
And then Bucs and then Cowboys.
I'm with you. Yeah, we're in agreement there. The Bucs. The only reason the Bucs scary is Tom Brady.
Yeah,
and that's it. But really it's enough to put them ahead of the Giants.
Yeah, exactly. I know there's a school of thought that bring on the Cowboys. You know, the Eagles are ready for this.
And they might be.
It's a big step they need to take. But this team just can't beat Dak, and that's a scary matchup. Even when he's bad against everyone else, like he has been, plays great against this team all the time. He was
awful in Week 18.
It's terrible.
Awful. And look, I know that they were probably like watching the Eagles game, like it might not matter. But if that's the case, that's even. I mean, their focus is then wavering.
Yeah. Plus, that Eagles game got closer and closer. If you're Dallas, like, all of a sudden we're down 20 against.
See a little killer instinct.
Like, yeah. Yeah, but still, the Eagles have lost the last 3 playoff games against Dallas. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah, 92, 95, they got blown out. And, that doesn't mean anything now. And then, obviously, if Jalen comes out and starts playing the banjo, we're all in trouble. That's all I know.
Who do you think? Prediction of who their opponent is in the divisional round?
Well, based on my predictions, it would be Dallas. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be Dallas. Yeah, because I said Vikings over the Giants.
I think it's going to be the Giants.
Okay.
And we'll see.
Yeah. They'd be a lot better off with the Giants. I mean, unless they play their backups. I mean, they beat their starters by 26 points.
That's true.
So if I'm Dable, I play the backups.
Davis Webb, get out there.
Absolutely.
All right. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching on YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. That's it for Rube. I'm Dave. This has been Eagle Eye. We'll talk to you soon.